All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Church Express, YouTube, and Facebook. So we will simulcast each and every Sunday. So really grateful for another opportunity to be out in front of everyone this morning. It's truly a blessing to be able to bring the truth of God's word and albeit brief. Still, I believe that what God has for me to share is no less powerful, and really know that folks are excited about this long weekend. As a veteran, I'm definitely was definitely honored to serve this country for 7 years on active duty, and two of my sons are serving as well. And really just thankful for all the vets and all the people out there who've given their lives and the families who sacrificed for our country, and really appreciate you. And it's truly a blessing to have been a part of that, and definitely grateful. So I hope everyone has a safe holiday weekend, fun holiday weekend. The weather is, I know you guys don't want to hear me complain about weather in Florida, but it's not the best. This weekend, it's been storming every day, but people can take time away from work nonetheless, and so I know that's in school for those that are still in. So with that, just want to let everybody know that the Church Express, again, that we are on Facebook Live each and every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as YouTube Live, same day, same time. And all the messages obviously are available, again, on both these platforms. And please encourage you to share the Church Express with your friends and family members, and anyone you think might benefit from any of these messages. And so this morning, what I want to talk to you about is really, versus flesh people, faith people versus flesh people. And there's not many decisions that you'll make in your lifetime as important, as critical as those you choose to spend your time with. Those that you choose to be around on a regular basis, to associate with, hang out with, communicate with, go to lunch with, go to dinner with, whatever. Your environment is critical to your success and your failure, for that matter. And the people you hang around have a particular ability to really determine your future. People you hang can absolutely encourage you and build you up and help get you to places you never thought possible, but it can also tear you down and put you in an impossible position where you don't see a way out. People can do that, and this isn't, something that's unique to any particular group of people, family members, friends, co-workers, whomever. Your environment has the power to tear you down, and what type of people you hang around will absolutely determine what happens to you. And I encourage everybody here, my assumption, desire, or my aspiration would be to love everybody I'm around, everyone that I come in contact with. I would like to be nice to everybody. I would like everyone to be nice to me. I would prefer to be okay being around virtually any person that I come in contact with, whether casually or, in passing or whatever the case may be. But the reality is that's just not the case. That there are some very, very horrible people walking this earth. There are some very, very bad people walking this earth. And some of the worst people walking this earth are the ones that you see every day. And it's not always the creepy looking guy or woman or the stereotypical, mean person. But in many cases, some of the worst people you ever be around are the ones that you see on a regular basis, unfortunately. And there are some distinctions, though, between, faith people and flesh people. Now, for me personally, I only know how to live one way. It's only one option for me. I can only live my life one way. And the only way I can live my life is by my faith in Jesus Christ. Like, I have no option. Like, there aren't choices for me. I don't have multiple choices or options. Or I'm speaking for me now. I'm not telling you how you should live your life. I'm talking about me, Kirk Ray Smith, that my life one way, and that's to trust Jesus Christ. I only can survive one way. My survival is predicated on my trust in God. That's it. There's really nothing else to it. That if I don't trust Him, if I don't follow Him, if He's not my leader, if He's not my God, my influencer, my power, my strength, if He's not the light to my feet and the lamp to my path, well, I have no feet, I have no path, I have no future. There's nothing for me. That's how I live my life. That's important to me. That's my survival is predicated on that, more so than oxygen, more so than food, more so than water, more so than anything else that you can think of. It's my faith in Jesus Christ. So that's how I live. Because I understand that, then I live my life based on that. So everything I do is built around that understanding that my whole life is about Him, and in Him I live and move and have my being. So every decision, every breath I take, every step I take, I'm mindful of that fact. And so one of my greatest fears is to live outside of God's will. Has to see things the way that I see it, or has to live life the way that I live my life. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying, though, that's how I live my life. So now what I try to do is surround myself with people who may not necessarily even believe in Jesus Christ, who may not even have that kind of faith, but people who will encourage me, people who will lift me up, people who will stand with me, who have something positive to say. I see people put positive vibes only. People who, they post that on social media, but people who are going to impact my life in a positive way to my life, not to me. And see, flesh people, they're always trying to pull you down. They want to hurt us. They're not interested in our success, but what they're interested more in is our failure. And sort of the Debbie Downers. You aspire to do. We talk about our vision and our plans, and then some people aren't ready to hear that. Some people listen to us talk about our plans and our vision and our expectations and things we want to accomplish, but they're not ready to hear that because their first reaction is, well, that's impossible. You can't do that. You can't accomplish that. You can't be what you said you could be, or you can't do what you're seeking to do. And see, these are flesh people. These are people that are thinking only about what's in front of them. These are momentary thinkers. And so what you want to do, if you're a dreamer, if you have vision, if you have any aspirations for a future, then surround yourself with people who have the same mentality. And if they don't, the thing is when you're surrounded by flesh people have a way of weighing us down. So for example, if you're a new couple and you're newlyweds, the worst thing you can do is surround yourself with a bunch of single people. The worst thing you can do is surround yourself with a bunch of people. Like, you don't want friends that as soon as your spouse have a problem, the first thing they tell you to do is leave or walk out. Well, that's not the way it works in marriage. You want to surround yourself with people who will encourage you to work things out, to work through things. If you are, for example, on the job, like, something doesn't go your way, that doesn't mean you're supposed to quit the job, right? Just because you're frustrated with the boss or the hours or whatever it is they're having you to do, that's not an indication that it's time for you to leave, right? So you have to learn how to endure adversity and deal with situations and become better as a result. But see, flesh people will tell you to go get a better job. Well, what is a better job? What does that mean? More money? What does that mean? Sometimes the best job you can do may not be the job that's 5 minutes from your house. Sometimes the best job may be 30, 45 minutes away, even an hour in some cases. But the bottom line is that every time something is difficult or appears hard, that doesn't necessarily mean it's time to run from that job. That doesn't mean it means not to take that job or that opportunity. But again, flesh people are going to tell you to do what? They're going to tell you to make decisions based on your flesh. And you tell me, all decisions that you made in your lifetime was based on your flesh and how you felt at the time, where did it get you? Do you ever look back and wonder, if I would have stuck it out, whether it's that relationship or that job or whatever it was, did you ever look back and say, if I had just stuck it out, things would have been a lot better? If I didn't just quit so quickly and become so impulsive and impetuous and doing things too fast. And what we have to learn how to do is slow down, man. Slow down and believe in the process. That it is time so you have to, learn how to have faith and understand. Again, if you believe in God and you believe in Jesus Christ, you have to understand that He has a plan for your life. There's things that God is doing, and sometimes it may not appear to be the most pleasant thing on the front end, rest assured, God has you set up for something way more incredible, something amazing, something powerful on the back end. But see, where we lose it, folks, is that we die out and we don't endure. We don't learn, we don't know how to keep going through difficulties when it's hard. We don't know how to be stretched. And see, you have to allow things and situations to stretch you. So surround yourself with people they're going to challenge you, not people that's going to pacify and sit back and just let you be less than what you're capable of being. You don't want to be around people that will accept you not trying and not putting your best foot forward. You want to be around people that will challenge you and not just yes people and people who are always going to just endorse you and check off on everything you say or you do and all of your actions. You want people around that's going to hold you accountable and are going to challenge you to be better, to be stronger, to go further, to last longer, and not to just throw in the towel and then start coming up with code words or excuses for failure and start blaming other people for what they've done. And I can't get here because of this person or that person, when in many cases, the two most significant problems we have is ourselves and the people we hang around, man. And you can't hang around a bunch of flesh people and expect to be successful and expect to have the kind of results that you're looking for. Hang around a bunch of people who have no interest, again, in your success and only your failure. And what happens with us as humans, we often measure people by ourselves. So if I'm lazy, then I expect you to be lazy. Then I expect you to give up. You know, misery loves company. And the reality is some things do happen to us. That is absolutely true. That some things do happen to us that's beyond our control. But most things we do to ourselves. Most things we bring on ourselves. Some things, yes, they do happen to us, without a doubt, no question. But most things, probably 90% of what happens to us, we bring on ourselves. We bring it on ourselves, folks, because of wrong decision making and being around the wrong people. You're listening to the wrong voices. And so you can't to influence you in a negative direction, in directions that will ultimately lead to your demise or your failure. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up and encourage you. And lifting you up and encourage you is not always saying, yes, 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 you're right, you're right. Someone can encourage you by giving you constructive criticism. Did you know that? You can be encouraged by someone giving you constructive criticism and guidance that you may not want to hear, but it's what's best for you. That's not negative. That's not discouragement. That's encouragement when someone challenges you and the way that you think and the way that you see the world. Because listen, as smart as we think we are and as good as we think we all need mentors. We all need people in our lives that are going to influence us in a positive way, that's going to give us direction and maybe show us things that we may not see ourselves. We all need people like that in our lives. You can't go it alone. And we have to learn how, again, how do you begin to shift gears and move away from flesh-thinking people who only think about the here and now, who only think about how to please themselves or momentary people? And how do we get around people who are faith people? And again, I'm not saying that you only hang with Christians and people that believe in Jesus Christ. Well, that makes no sense. If that's all we did, then there would be no life at all. I guess we would be in heaven. I'm not saying that. But just because somebody doesn't believe in Jesus Christ, that doesn't mean they can't encourage you. And just because somebody says that they believe in Christ, that doesn't mean they can't discourage you. Because you have people who say they believe in Jesus Christ and they love God and all of that, but they'll discourage you in a heartbeat. Like I mentioned, you get a car and say the car is used. Say the car is 5 years old, but it's like your dream car. And you like it, low miles, you really like the car. And you can't wait to show your friends and loved ones your new car. And you pull up and say, look guys, I got this new car, this new BMW, whatever it is you want. And it's 5 years old, it's used, but it's new and you're excited. And then say, yeah, well, those cars are expensive to take care of. I don't know if you should have got that one. I mean, wow, really? Now, I know I'm talking about a car, but think about that for a minute. That's something exciting to you. You worked hard to get it. Yeah, you couldn't get a brand new one, but you got one nonetheless. And the first thing they say is, oh man, that car is too expensive to take care of. Or you're in a new relationship, you fall in love with a person, that person, you guys are falling in love, you're working on it, your relationship, and then the first thing I say, well, you know it ain't gonna last, or women ain't no good, or guys are no good, or or you shouldn't get married, or he's gonna cheat on you. See, what I'm saying is, see, you have to learn how to move away from these people. Some of you have some really amazing dreams, and I call them, big, hairy, audacious goals, right? BHAG. You have these big, monstrous goals, these BHAGs in your mind of things you want to accomplish. And you start telling certain people what they are, and they're not ready for it. And they start telling you all the reasons as to why you can't accomplish what you set out to do. And see, why would you want to be around people like that? Those are not faith people. Those are flesh people. Those are people who have no interest in your success. They have no desire to see you make it. They want to see you fail. I'm getting ready to officiate a wedding this evening. It's a beautiful young couple. And one of the things I talk about all the time is how, people love the idea of marriage, but they're not prepared for the reality of marriage, right? So they like the idea, the fantasy part of being married, and, the kids and the house and the yard and the cars and all this other stuff, and all this beautiful stuff that people fantasize about. And really, if we couldn't fantasize about marriage, I wonder how many of us would have gotten married, right? Because you get married because you have this imagination about what it might look like. And then there's a reality, which in many cases is far different from the ideal of it. Now, but that's not negative. What I'm saying is that when you get married, right, that you have to understand that it's something that requires work 24/7. So you can be married 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It requires work day after day. It's not something that you just arrive to one day. In other words, you can't take one another for granted, but it takes work, and you got to put into it, and it can become greater than anything you can imagine. That a marriage can be any fantasy, a good marriage, if you put the work in, right? Now, you have some people that I've counseled in the past, pre-marriage, honest to God truth, and we go through counseling, and I realize they don't trust each other. I'm right in the middle. We get to the 5th, 6th session, and I realize that, wait a minute, they don't trust each other. And I said this to couples before. I said, listen, you should not get married. This is the truth. I told this couple, you should not get married because you don't trust each other. Now, some people get offended by that. But who are you to tell us we can't get married, but yet I'm qualified to marry you? But I'm not qualified to tell you shouldn't get married. Here's why. So they get mad at me. They got mad at me. Didn't invite me to the wedding, cut me off, didn't talk to me forever. They just turned their back on me. 1 year later, they were divorced. Now, see, what I'm saying is, so that's my earlier example, that sometimes constructive criticism can encourage you. I never said you should never be married. I never said that there's no chance you get married. But what I did say is you need to work on this first before you get married. And see, that's our problem, folks. We're not interested in instruction and information that listen, who are going to tell you the truth because they truly and they genuinely care about you. Sometimes, guys, you have to sit back and listen to what it is that people have to say. And sometimes that criticism or that direction may not feel good at the time, but it's the best thing for you. Don't run and cut the people off who want to help you. See, the ones that flatter you and the ones that tell you, oh, baby, it's okay, or do whatever you want, follow your heart, follow your dreams, blah, 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 and always telling you, checking boxes and kind of like these yes people, those are the ones that's going to sink you. That you tried didn't work, where are those people going to be? So let's not confuse discouragement with someone giving you advice or direction you don't want to hear. That can be the very opposite in many cases. So when you hang around faith people, they're going to tell you the truth because they want to help you. They want to guide you. A faith person, just like that example, that BMW, if you talk to them before you get to BMW, they're going to make sure you have a plan and that you're in a position to take care of the maintenance costs of that vehicle before you get it. Because if you buy that vehicle and you say how you're going to take care of the maintenance, whether that's buying some type of extended warranty or whatever it is, then that very thing you were happy about is going to depress you and frustrate you. So the thing that you were the most excited about, now it turns out to be something that's hurting you and that you don't like. So something that's good, that was once good, is now evil when you look at it. You see? And see, what we don't want to do is live our lives doing things and pursuing things that make us happy on the front end, only to depress us on the back end. And see, the way God operates is like this. The Bible says that he saves to the utmost. When God blesses you, it's not partially blessed. It's not kind of blessed. It's completely blessed. So God's not going to bless you with a house, for example, right? God won't give you a house that's going to be foreclosed on. He's not going to give you a house and you can't pay the electric bill. See, he's not, so whatever God does something is holistic, folks. See, so he's going to bless you on the front end and the back end. So what that means is maybe you can't get that house this year and you got to keep paying rent and it hurts. And so your faith, your one of your faith people that know you can say, hold up on that house. Just go and keep paying rent, saving your money, and get your credit right so you get a better rating. And you can probably get the house now, but it ain't the best rating. It ain't the best house yet. There's a better house waiting on you. So you wait a year. So then that's hurting on the front end. But then if you wait 1 year, now you can get a house that God has truly given you, that you can be blessed long term. You see? See, delayed gratification. Now that's encouragement. That's not discouragement. And see, the trick that flesh people play, they try to make you think they have your back. They try to make you think they want what's best for you, but really, and oftentimes, they're setting you up for failure. They're setting you up for failure. And here's another thing about faith. When you trust in God for something, you got to expect this. In other words, if I expect God to move in my life, I can't always expect for everything to be perfectly aligned for God to move. Faith does require you to do things when you don't have everything in place. It absolutely does. Faith does require you to try things and take leaps you may not otherwise take if you didn't have faith. Faith does do that. Faith does put you in a position where it requires you to do things that scare you to death. That's exactly what faith does. That faith will trust in God sometimes can be a very, very scary proposition. But here's the thing where God takes away the scariness of trusting him, is that a lot of times the Bible says this. It says that Jesus has taken away the sting of death. Okay, what that means is this. Death is no longer the playground bully of us all. Death can no longer punk us and scare us anymore because there's nothing for us. Death has nothing to do with a believer. Death has nothing to do with me as a child of God, you as a child of God. The Bible is very, very clear. Death has nothing to do with us. That means the other side. There is no death for believers, so he eliminated the sting. Now, if Jesus took away the sting of death, how much more can he take away the sting of failure? How much more can he take away the sting of fear of things not working? If he can handle death, which was the ultimate thing, that's the thing that scared everyone the most, was death. If he took away the most scariest of them all, then what does that say for things that are subject to that? What does that say for them and their impact and their ability to hurt us? Is that if death has nothing for us, neither does fear, neither does failure. Has nothing for me. That means that even though I'm doing something that's going to scare me to death, and although I'm taking a step that is very scary, there's only one outcome. That's success, because I'm trusting God. You see, it's almost like your whole life can be fixed, man. The fix is in if you trust him. And learn how to get around people who are faith people and not flesh people who want to bring you down. Listen, I don't even blame flesh people. You know, you, for whatever reason, that's what you think, and that's fine. Bless your heart. Okay, that's fine. But I don't have to be around you. I don't have to be around that stuff. I'm not required to be around negativity. I'm not required to be around all the time constant sadness and frustration and devastation. All go through those things, and we have those moments. But that, it's not the exception. Faith is the rule when it comes to my life. It can be the rule when it comes to your life. And it starts, number one, with what you believe in your heart, right? What you believe in your heart. And then secondly, with the people you hang around. Make a decision. You have to make a decision. There's no interest for me, or should it be for you, to be around people who want to bring us down, who want to hurt us, discourage us, lie to us, tell us something that's bad, and they tell us it's good, tell us we have a good idea when it's a bad idea. Someone that would just watch us sink with no attempt to rescue us and show us the way. See, I want to be around people like that. I want to be around faith people, people who have hope, who look ahead, who think I can do it, who believes in me. I want to be around people. If I'm a new couple, I want to be married. I want to be around married people. I can't hang around all of my single friends and be married at the same time. Because if I'm married and I'm hanging around a bunch of single people who are negative, man, what chance do I have? As good as I think I'm a pretty good guy. And there's things wrong with me, no question. I am a flawed man. I have issues. God is working on me. Man, I think God is going to be a lifelong project of him trying to get me right. I know it. I get it. I accept it. And I'm working on it. But boy, oh boy, people, they're going to bring me down. They're going to hurt me, and they're going to rob me of my future, because negative does not, listen, positive is not going to win out over negative. It's simple math. Positive plus negative equals negative. So I'm going to learn how to get around positive people, people who are where I want to be someday, people that I can encourage along the way as well. But as far as me hanging around people who want to, inferior people want to discourage me, shoot down my dreams, tell me what I can and cannot do. People want to sit around and have excuse parties and make up excuses for all their failures and weaknesses. Like I said, things do happen to us. But 90% of what happens to us, right, is because of us. 10% it just happens. 90% is on me, it's on you. Now look at those numbers. So if 90% of your issues are your fault, then how about 90% of your success can be as a result of you making better decisions? It's that simple. It's that simple. And your whole life can change. Your finances, your credit, your emotions, your career, your education, your walk with God, all these things can be completely changed if you and I make better decisions. So with that, I want to encourage everybody to share hashtag the Church Express on a YouTube Live, Facebook Live, whatever social media platform. Put the link on Twitter. I do want to say that next Sunday, the Church Express is going to start at 11, not 10. So it'll be 11 Eastern time, not 10. I have to actually visit a couple different churches next Sunday morning, or one church at 2 different times. So I won't be able to start until 11 o'clock next Sunday. So please let your friends know. I'll actually put the post up, and it'll have 11 o'clock, again, just for this coming Sunday only. Then after that, we should be back to normal. But I appreciate everybody. Thank you for all your support. Continue to bring the word. Wow, that's incredible. So keep spreading the messages, man. Y'all have a great week. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. Have fun. Don't overeat. Say something for the next person. 1.